Hello everyone, it is Liam, the Deaf Doom Metalhead, and I am doing the metal tag for 2022. This was started by Scott, the Rock Scout, who came up with this thread actually last year, and it was quite popular because it doesn't deal with those hipster vinyl people that talk utter shite and preach about records that no one could give a flying fuck about. So this is a metal version, and it doesn't have to be all about vinyl, it's CDs, tape, you know, anything metal related, which I think is great. And is way more interesting than that vinyl tag, because that sucks. Anyway, so there is 20 questions to get through. I will obviously leave a link to Scott's channel, and any music I talk about I will punt down below so you can go and check out for yourself. So the first question is your favourite reissue from 2021. That would be England's Warning with Watching from a Distance. I used to listen to this album loads back in my iPod days. This is before I could even drive. And I relied heavily on music to get me through my journeys to and from work, because it was over an hour's worth of journeying. And I completely stopped collecting albums probably in my late teens because I had nowhere to store anything. I was moving from different houses. And then last year they announced this reissue, and I fucking jumped on it straight away, because this is the ultimate sad boy album. It is depressive, it is miserable, but also at the same time beautifully sung. Harmonies that make you cry almost. If you're in a shit mood, it'll put you in a shitter mood. And yeah, the ultimate, you know, I'm a bloke but I don't cry album. Warning. Love it. Question number 2. A band you discovered old or new in 2021. Now, being the huge party animal that I am here at the Deaf Doom HQ, my kids and I love to do like kind of YouTube discos where we create a playlist. We'll stick on the old USB disco ball and go fucking mental around the house. Wear them out, and then when I go to bed I can actually enjoy my evenings. And one of the songs that came on there was Crazy Nights by the band Loudness. Never heard of them before, or I heard the song but I didn't know the band. Thunder in the East was the album it was on, so I went on eBay, and this was actually being sold by someone 20 miles away from me, so I got this for a steal, and I fucking love it. Absolutely fantastic band. I mean, look at them. Look how fucking cool they look. You know, playing the old fucking pointy guitar there, shredding it up. Yeah, didn't have a clue who these guys were before, and I'm happy to, you know, now own something from their collection. Question number 3. Show an album with an outstanding vocal performance. Now I've gone for a Swedish epic doom band. This is the band Memory Garden, which is obviously named after the American band Trouble, if you know them, one of their songs. This is one of their newer albums called Doom Main. Came out through Metal Blade Records. But the vocalist in this band is fantastic. I mean, these guys have been around since the 90s. All their albums, his vocals are spot on. I think they actually put out a new album just the end of last year, right at the end. But if you want a song, I'll leave a link below. Go check out Daughters of the Sea. It has everything I love about Epic Doom, and his vocals kind of just drive this band, and all their albums are solid. So yeah, Memory Garden. Okay, question number 4. Show a gap filler. This is an easy one. Candlemass's The Pendulum. This EP has 6 tracks on it, and only one of them was worth listening to, and that is The Pendulum, and that's the whole reason I bought it. Brilliant track, didn't get featured on the full length, which came out in 2019. Excuse me. And yeah, sadly not, but the whole EP is just a load of unreleased demos that no one gives a monkeys about. And lots of Candlemass EPs are kind of like that, which sucks. But yeah, I bought it purely because I wanted that track. So yeah, Candlemass, and I'm a massive fanboy. Right, question number 6. Oh no, yeah, number 5, sorry. Show a cheap pickup from 2021. So I use Amazon a lot to try and scour for bargains, especially with CDs and the odd vinyl, and I like to rearrange it by cheapest first, and I kind of monitor it every other day when I'm bored. And Hypocrisy's Into the Abyss went down to a whopping £3.60 with free postage, so I couldn't ignore that. I actually haven't got any other Hypocrisy albums. For years and years and years I was calling them Hypocrisy, and lads in Consecration used to laugh their head off, and no one ever corrected it because they didn't know what I was talking about. And then when they kind of twigged that they actually meant Hypocrisy, I felt like a proper twat. But yeah, this album is actually really, really good. I like the track Resurrected. That was the one I knew from this album, hence why I was on the want list. But yeah, I love Hypocrisy, and I need to pick up some more. So yeah, really good bargain that was. Question number 6. Your favourite artwork from 2021? Or from a new release it says, but we're going to go with last year. So this came out right at the beginning of last year. Australian/UK band Werewolves. This is What a Time to Be Alive. It was put out through Prosthetic Records, and the cover beautifully sums up this album. This is pure chaos, violence, and if you're in an angry mood and you want to smash something up, this is the soundtrack to it. I mean, a couple of women there that look like they're kind of turning into werewolves, smashing the shit out of each other with all sorts of tools and things going on over here, and some breasts over here as well, which is always good to see. But yeah, great band. The track I Don't Like You, I was talking to my ex-missus and she said something to upset me at the time when I listened to this, and that song summed up my mood perfectly. So I'll leave a link below and you can check out the lyrics, because it's fucking hilarious how violent it is and how apt it is for what mood I was in at the time. So yeah, Werewolves. Have a sip of Guinness. Cheers everyone. Right, number 7, a favourite track from 2021. Obviously this was my favourite album from last year if you watched my last video, and the track The Free Flames Sapphire was the main reason I listened to that track a lot. So when I'm in an angry mood, say if I've been listening to that Werewolves album, they've been a bit violent, I can put this on and it will calm me down instantly. Love this album to bits. It's my sleep tunes, it's my chill tunes, it's my children's sleep tunes playlist, it's in there as well. Yeah, fantastic album. I'll obviously leave a link to that song below. Question number 8, a song that became an earworm, so one that got stuck in your head throughout last year. This was my number 2 album from last year, Blood Red Throne, and the track Consumed Illusion. The hooks and the riffs on that one, pretty much this whole album was an earworm really, but Ithaca and Consumed Illusion were the 2 off this one that really stuck in my head. And being this my gym track playlist, I use this on the treadmill or whatever I'm using for cardio, and I just feel like I'm going 100 miles an hour when I listen to this. It's such a great album for stuff like that. And yeah, puts me in a mood for kind of being a bit violent, a bit, you know, angry. It's great, love it. Right, now question number 9, 2 albums destined to be cold from your collection. So that was an easy one. These 2 albums I think are utter shite. First one is Dragon Force. The only reason I have this is because as a teenager I was very open-minded to new bands that were popular, and obviously being a massive gamer at the time, I am a little bit still, but not nowhere near what I was. Guitar Hero was epic, and me and my brother would play it for hours and hours and hours, and this track on here, Through the Fire and the Flames, was one of the hardest tracks at the time. And then it got harder and harder, and I got older and older, and the game just became almost impossible for me. But this album is shite. I've seen this band live twice as well. Even on the tour for this specific album I saw them. Bizarrely my wife, before I even knew her, was at that gig as well, and she liked this band. We can both confirm we don't like this band anymore. Very much outgrown that big time, so if anyone wants that, let me know. I'll throw it to you. And this one was sent to me as a gift, and it was the most misleading album I think I've ever heard. Cancer, Spirit in Flames. Now Cancer is a legendary UK death metal band from the 90s. I've even played a gig with them, I can boast about saying that as well. But this does not sound like the Cancer I know. It is basically them at the time trying to be what I can only guess 90s groove metal. It's not even really a death metal album anymore at this point. Very much a Pantera rip-off, very chuggy, very dry guitar tone, very gated as well, and it's, yeah, shite. So yeah, that one. Right, question number 10, we're halfway. This will be a fun one. A band you have gone off over time. So for me, that is the easiest question out of this list. It came to my head straight away. Megadeth. I do not understand why this band is so popular still, because for me, they haven't done anything remotely interesting for years, and even now I don't get excited when I listen to any of their albums. So I got into Megadeth when I was in my teens. So I started off with Metallica, you get into Slayer, and then you obviously then kind of go off and look for other bands, and Megadeth's always going to be there. And I was on Countdown to Extinction, I had Hangar 18, you know, I got the greatest hits, I picked up this one. And as the years went by, I just stopped listening to them. I didn't get excited anymore. I mean, at one point I even had a Dave Mustaine signature Dean Flying V guitar. And it was because it was cheap and I could afford it, and it was a Flying V, and I thought, oh, that'll make me play better, and it didn't. And yeah, and then even now, I mean, I've seen them live at least 4 times. They're never exciting to watch live. They just have a clock in the corner. You can almost see it all the time, and they just play to that clock. Then they disappear. You know, there's no interaction. There's just nothing. And then you hear vocal stuff like this.
It's the end of the line for you.
And yeah, it's an absolute joke. I mean, I don't know how anyone could be excited by hearing that as, you know, something to be looking forward to this year, say for a new album, and it's just a joke. So yeah, Megadeth for me. Do not understand at all. Question number 11, a 90s album recommendation. So I've gone with a Yorkshire-based epic doom band. And this is obviously a reissue, I haven't got the original press. This is Solstice with A New Dark Age. If you like your kind of medieval listening, pagan-esque, say, doom metal, great guitar leads, it's epic, it's doomy. Rich Walker, you know, can't do no wrong for me, especially with Solstice. All their albums are great. I've just picked this one out because I don't normally show it. The first one, Lamentations, is brilliant as well. But yeah, go with this one, A New Dark Age. It even has Hamish on it, who would later become in My Dying Bride and now does God for Him. He's also on this album as well. So yeah, Solstice. Question 12. Show a 7-inch single or name a single that sold an album to you. So, where did I put it? When I first heard this EP, it's only 2 tracks by a band called Fvneral Fvkk. These are a German epic doom band. And the band name Fvneral Fvkk would probably assume it's going to be something really nasty. There's an upside down cross. It's got funerals on it. This is the best modern epic doom you'll ever hear. I can promise you that. Their full length is amazing. And this EP is what got me into them. The first song, Erection in the House of God. Even reading it, you think it's going to be really crude and really vulgar. You listen to that song, I'll leave a link below and you tell me, because this band are amazing. They're so underrated purely because of their band name. And they dress up like priests, Catholic priests, and it's all about the Catholic Church and the abuse and all that kind of thing. And it's done really, really well, and musically it's flawless. So go check out that, Fvneral Fvkk. I love that band. Number 13, name an epic song that is 8 minutes or more. So this whole fucking collection back here could be in that, being a massive fan of the doom. But I went with My Dying Bride's EP, The Bar Test of Whitby. This is 1 track that is about 27 minutes long, and on the vinyl you obviously got it on 2 sides. But yeah, it's a made up story about a beast that roams the moors of Yorkshire, and then there's a twist in it which I won't spoil it for you. And yeah, great little EP, great track, very dark, very heavy. It was one of those songs they wrote in between going from that really shit 3700% album to what they are now. You know, it's a kind of cross between everything they're good at. So yeah, My Dying Bride, love that. Hopefully you can hear me with the crazy music going on in the background. I kind of picked this CD because I didn't think it would get me a copyright, and it's good. What we got? Question 14, a quick opinion on Record Store Day. So Record Store Day is a complete new concept to me since I started collecting 2 years ago. I only knew about it purely from joining the whole YouTube community and getting really into Instagram and following a lot of vinyl kind of nerds that show records, and I've become one of those vinyl nerds. And I would never go, well, I wanted to originally, but then obviously with lockdown it never happened. I was going to go and queue, and I thought this will be great. But the more you think about it and the more what gets announced for my kind of tastes, there's just nothing. But this was one I did get last year for Record Store Day, but I bought this off a records website. You know, when they had the stock left over, they released it to the wide world, and I grabbed it because this is the only one I wanted, and that is Fight with a Small Deadly Space. I've even kept the sticker on there, it tells you about it. It's about 2,500 copies. Now, before I heard about this, this was only re-released in Brazil, and the money going for that on Discogs was insane, because this is an album I used to listen to a lot in my teens. It's that kind of Rob Halford groove metal project, you want to call it maybe, where they're trying to sound like Pantera when he left Judas Priest. And the song Human Crate is an amazing track, very heavy, it's great. He even has the guitar player from Steel Panther before Steel Panther was a thing. He does all the lead work on this album, so yeah, Really cool project. And yeah, I was happy to get that. I mean, there was another one like Opeth when they re-released the debut album, but even then, no one really cares. So yeah, couldn't give a toss really. Question 15. What part of your music setup would you change? Now, at the moment, I haven't got a great deal of space, and if you see my room tour video, you'll see that. But for me, the only thing I maybe would change is probably my tape deck. Been a bit unlucky with tapes. So I only started collecting tapes last year. I'm well over 100 now, which is insane, and tells you that I should slow down a bit. But I was gifted a tape deck, which is currently plugged in, but it was a bit faulty. I mean, it was all right. It was, you know, it did the job, but it wasn't pretty. I thought I could do better, so I went and bought one off eBay. It broke, even though it had been refurbished, and then when I tried to fix it, I broke it more. And being the heavy-handed person I am, I tore it off, bits off the fucking circuit board and made it completely worse, and I paid 40 quid for it, and it was going to cost a lot more than that to get it fixed. So I thought, I'll go back to the freebie I got given, and now that's starting to click now, and I imagine it's a gear that's lost one of the kind of points on it, so when it spins around, it plays fine, but you'll hear it click, 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 click as it's playing, and I'm terrified now to get my head into it and pull it apart. So I love listening to my cassettes, so if I crank the music up I don't notice it. So my goal for this year, if I can, is try and find another one, because new ones go for like 250 quid, and I'm not paying, well, I might have to, I'm not paying that for a brand new tape player that could easily go wrong like they do, because they're not bulletproof. You know, they're the most dangerous thing to collect is tapes, because there's so many things that can go wrong with them. So yeah, that's the answer to that one. Question 16. The biggest musical disappointment of 2021. Now this disappointment has carried on actually for quite a number of years now. So there is a tour that I've had tickets for now, and which has been rescheduled for next year, and next year I've had these tickets for 5 years. That is the Ozzy Osbourne and Judas Priest tour, and it's rescheduled for next year in 2023, but Ozzy Osbourne's probably going to end up being like the Norwich Puppet Man. And then you've got Judas Priest then announcing they're a 4-piece now, so you've lost the dual guitar stuff that makes them interesting, makes them Judas Priest. So what the fuck would I want to go to that? I mean, it's insane, and I paid like a good 80 odd quid for those tickets, me and the wife. So I'm probably going to get them refunded, because the thought of watching those two bands where one guy is basically dead and the other band just, I don't know what they're even doing these days, they haven't got a clue anymore clearly. Yeah. That's the answer to that one. It's still a disappointment now. It gets me angry just thinking about it. Question 17. Name an album you're expecting and looking forward to in 2022. So there's a few bands. This year I want to try and avoid going crazy on the new releases. It's going to be really difficult because I have a very impulsive personality, especially with music. But Enchantment's new album, Immolation's new album, and I believe Candlemass are doing a new album. So I'm not sure if it comes out this year or next year, but those 3 bands I'd love to see new music from. Question 18. Who would you like to see release a solo album? So I went with Mr. Tony Iommi. I have this album here which he did with Glenn Hughes, which is very different from Black Sabbath, but it is Tony Iommi, so it is his riffs. But yeah, really enjoyed this. He has another album he did with loads of different guest musicians that I haven't got a copy of, which I wouldn't mind having. Excuse me. I wouldn't mind having that, because he does write better stuff on his own. And when he gets people involved, they basically just do vocals normally. So yeah, some Tony Iommi goodness. Question 19 is show a placeholder album you would rebuy in better condition. And that would be Solitude Aeturnus' debut album, Into the Depths of Sorrow. These go for ridiculous money, and I mean like silly money, and the next question answers that as well, because I got this off eBay for 40 quid, and I thought that was a massive achievement, and it was stated it had a slight mark on it, and when you play it the song White Ship skips for like maybe 2 seconds tops of that song, and the rest is fine. But I hate when things skip in my music. I can't stand it. It really irritates me, and then I think about it more, and then it kind of sits in my head. You know, it's not a big a deal, because to buy this in better condition I'm paying over £100. or if I go to some record store and the idiot that works there doesn't understand the value of this, I may find it cheaper, but I've only ever seen this online and it's always expensive. And my next question will sum this up. So the next question is, because of cost or availability, this is question 20, what album have you yet to pick up? And that is Solitude Aeturnus' Beyond the Crimson Horizon. So this album is my favourite Solitude Aeturnus album. It was the album that got me into them, but a vinyl version was only originals of the first two. They've never been repressed on vinyl. They go for well over £100 always. And then the CDs that have been remastered and they were repressed by a Polish company, they go for over £25, and I'm never going to pay that for a CD in any day. It's insane. So yeah, I don't want a bootleg. I might have to settle for a bootleg just so I can listen to it in the cave, because I really do like that album. But yeah, that would be the goal, because I've got every other Solitude Aeturnus album on vinyl. That is the only one I don't have. So yeah, that'd be the answer to that. So that is my 20 questions for the Vinyl Tag 2022. I hope you enjoyed it and found it a bit more fun. You know, I don't want to do serious videos this year. I want to have more fun this year, so that's the goal. So please go and check out Scott the Rock Scout's channel. He's the one that came up with this thread. I'll also shove shit around me now of stuff you may be interested in. Please take care, and I'll speak to you guys in the comments. Cheers.